Okay, so this is Will, and here's the sixth installment of the WonderWare HMI. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you some of the animations that you can do, but also a couple of things that we do with the trainer. What we have, and well, what we can do, and one of the things that we have to do is we can import pictures of what some of the trainer parts look like. And to do that, the best way I know how is just to get Windows Paint. And if we get that opened up, we can kind of select what we want. And what I have is some files on my computer that we have a whole bunch of pictures, and these are just bitmaps, and we have some pings. And what this is this is our trolley car, and this is the cup carriage. And this thing moves back and forth from position to position. Now, what this is this is a kind of a picture of what it looks like on SolidWorks. And what we do is we crop out around the part. Now, this one looks a little too big, so what I'm going to do is resize it, maybe make it half as big. Okay. So now that'll work better on my screen. So I just want to do Control A, Control C, and when I go in here, I want to put it down here, so I'm going to do Control V. Now, one of the things that WonderWare does, it always puts it, doesn't matter what the screen looks like, but it always puts it right in the corner here. So if I do Control V, it's going to put it right here, and then I can move it. So there it is, and I don't know why it does that, but there's no way around that. So anyway, I'm going to move him right down here. And we're going to have him move across. So, you know, just pretend or imagine here's where the cup dispenser is. And it's going to move down towards the sorter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add a graphic for our sorter. And our sorter arm is a push bar that pushes the cup onto the sorter space. So I'll just make a rectangle, and let's see, I'll try to kind of line it up. And I'll make him like that. I'll fill him in black. Okay, so remember, we have our counter, and you know, we have it count a certain number of cycles. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here, and we had the set point as DS1. Well, actually, we have the set point on the screen. So before, this was pretty sure this was count to 6, this was count to 4, and this was 6 cycles. But we have it on the screen, we can change it on the screen. So we'll go back into WonderWare. Now, what we have to do is we have to add the animation. So we go into graphics, and in the animation, you know, we put in color before, we did some visibility. Now it's visibility / position. So I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to click on this guy, and now when I go into visibility, it's got, so this is visibility, I don't want that, but this is the position. So my horizontal tag, I'm going to use that cycle count, and my cycle count, okay, so right now our cycle count is 6, but I'm going to up that to 10, and I'm going to make the position not knowing where I'm going to be. I'm just going to be 0 to 100, and we'll just leave it at that. And again, your X00 is here, so when it moves from 0 to 100, it's going to go this direction. Now for this, I want the push bar to push up, and I want that to happen at end of cycle. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to give him the position visibility, and then when I go in here, it's the vertical position I want. So I'm going to have that with the end of cycle. And here, I'm going towards 0, so I want him to go negative. So this reference position is where he's at right now. And the value for this is going to be 0 to 1 because it's Boolean. And I'll say I want him to move minus, well, we'll make him minus 100. Okay, so when this is set up and this is counting, as this cycle count is counting, it's going to start moving in increments. And it'll be moving in increments of 10 since we since that, well, we're going to set this to 10, but it's counting to 100, so each move will be like a small little jump of 10. So I go into, and we haven't changed this program at all, but I still need to connect up here. And this is the program that we've been running for the last couple of these guys. So let's see, right project. Okay, stop it and start it again, and this should be ready to go. Now hopefully when we do the WonderWare, and we're going to go into run mode, the only thing we change is put visibility in here. And actually this bar is, well, our cup needs to be actually a little bit higher, I think. Or no, okay, so I was practicing, so this is already in the up position. So let's go back into run mode, and if we reset it should move back down. At least that's what I'm sticking with right now. Okay, so it did, and we have the cycle count at 10. So if we reset and we start, so every time this counts, he's going to beep over a little bit. So let's see, and we are going to have to, so that moved a little bit there, and you can watch it incrementing just a little bit when it counts. Now we're going to have to speed up these counting, since this is going pretty slow, and he's not going to make it all the way over here. I can pretty much tell that. Probably only make it about halfway. So if we're at, well, we'll kind of gauge where he's at, but if we're counting from 0 to 100, the two things that we can do, well, if we cut this down, then the jumps will be bigger, but we can speed it up, and we can make that from, instead of 0 to 100, like 0 to, I don't know, 250 or something, or 300 maybe. See what it looks like. But when we do get up to 10, this push bar is going to push. So if this cup carriage was in the right place, and if we had a visualization of a cup on there, when this moves forward, we could also have the cup move forward and fill into the sorter slot. And you know, we're still kind of finalizing the HMI for the actual system. We're still not even halfway through the semester, so we've got a little time to go. We have a pretty good baseline, but this is some of the stuff that we're trying to do with it. So yeah, this is 10. It pushed forward, but the cup didn't make it anywhere near where it needs to be. So well, let's exit. And we don't really need our camcorder there, I don't think. So if we go in here, what I want to do, this is the guy I need to change. So instead of doing 0 to 100, say 0 to 350. Or, yeah. And we'll go into run. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to make this count fast. So I'm going to be 2 and 2 again. And when we reset it, this will move back down, and this will move back to its original location. So that's where our starting point is. And now he'll be counting, and let's see if we get a lot closer and to where we need to be when he pushes. And if it does, well, he'll be a lot closer, so we'll just let it go at that. But you get the idea is what we're trying to do. We can put into the position, we can also do visibility, so we can get whatever movement we require. Now, you know, it's trial and error at this point. So I think what we'll do right now is we'll put in another timer that'll kind of, well, that didn't get us much closer either. So, okay, let's exit. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to copy all these guys again. Well, let me, I was going to put in another counter set in here. So what I want to do is I'll go down to the end here and insert a rung, insert another rung, and insert another rung. And I'm just going to put in one quick counter. So let's say when we are in start process, so that'll be C3, and I'm just going to put a timer out here, and I think we have T3 available, and my set point, I'm just going to make that, I'm going to make it count fast, so 200 milliseconds, so count 5 times a second. And what I'll do here is I've got to recycle the counter. I am going to put a normally closed contact in. It'll be T3 that'll just recycle itself. And down here, I'm going to put a counter. And that'll be, I'll just make it CT3. And the set point here, if we're counting 5 times a second, let's have that count to, say, 200. I don't know what a good value is, and we'll count it with T3. And this will keep counting until we get to the terminal count. So when it goes to terminal count, we'll stop this counter. So we're normally closed contact, and it'll be CT3. So hopefully when we start process, it'll start counting up to 300, and I'll have to put a reset into here. So I'll just make that X003. And I was also going to probably put a different type of graphic on here, and this line draw is really irritating at points, but it's a necessary evil. This is not all the PLC programming is glamour. This is the part that's kind of painful. Okay, so the other thing we're going to go into WonderWare, and what we're going to use for this, I'm going to put in a different thing. So I am going into my symbols, and we had shown a tank to be filled, and we can put one in here. And what I want to do is I'll leave like that there, but what I want to put in there is a rectangle, and this rectangle I'll kind of make the size of our tank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an animation, and this will be a bar graph animation. And in here, what I'm going to put is a tag expression, and I'll just call it CT. And what we want is we want CTD3. So I will call that CT. So I have to CTD3. Okay, and that's going to be an integer. Okay, and the maximum value is going to be 200, and the minimum value will be 0. And now what I have to do is I have to go into my communications to my driver, and now I need to add CTD3. And it'll have the same and somehow we're having a problem with this Click PLC program, so we have to reload it every time we want to use it. But if we go in here, our CTD3, if we look at the address picker, if if I can get to my address picker. CTD 3 is going to be, it's going to be 449,157. So it'll be 4x 49157. So 4x 49157. Okay, so let's see if this does what we want it to do. So we're going to change this one. So last time it said 350, so let's do 500. And at the same time, so this will move across, and this guy is going to fill up. And let me just, and the foreground color, I guess that's going to fill up with the deep blue. We'll find out. And also, one thing, like this is moving to the grid. You can also go graphics and go into grid settings. Grid settings, and I'm going to turn it off for the snap. And now I can get a little better resolution on how I want to put that. So let's just give it a try and see what it's going to happen here. Okay, so we're still going to 10, and hopefully it'll get over here, and hopefully this will start filling up. So we'll reset everybody and get it going and see what happens. So this should be filling up, and if we don't see it filling up, we want to see what our program looks like. So we'll let this guy go and see if he's in about the right position at the end. This one isn't doing what we want, and I think that's because I didn't tie a tag to it. So 7. We're still going to be a little shy here. So we'll up that one by about 10% or something. And we'll take a look at what is going on with this guy. Okay, so let's take a look at this guy. Oh, let's see. Oh, I didn't change the program. Write project into the PLC. Connect. Okay, I made all those changes and didn't load it, which I do more than just occasionally. Okay, so yeah, now it's turned on, so now it should count up to 200. And now I want to go in here, I think that's okay, and I want to change this just into 500. Let's change him to, I don't know, 600. Okay, and hopefully this will work. We'll just leave it at that wherever it works, knowing that, you know, when you do these things, you are going to have to do the trial and error stuff. Up, and I'm going to stop it because I do not want that at 6. So let's reset and start here. Okay, so now this is filling, and that's what we want. So we did have a little exercise where you're supposed to fill up a tank, and you know, pretty much any of the exercises, you don't, well, the light stack works wonders, but you can also put your own visualizations in here, and you know, pretty much anything you want to visualize and anything you can control, this can, you know, kind of do what you want. And this is more or less what we do when we're moving the trolley down the cart, and we're still not going to make it here, but you know, with a little trial and error, we could get it to the right spot, and then the cup would be pushed off, and when we get that working, we'll be happy. So that's the additional visualizations. You know, if you register with WonderWare, they have fantastic videos, and you can do this and, you know, 10 times more. It's really good stuff to watch. Anyway, I think we're going to have one last video on the HMI, and it'll just be how to kind of clean up the screen and show a couple other things. So we'll see you then.